Hello everybody, today we're going to be jumping back into historic Brawl with Gandalf the White, the Panharmonicon man himself. Now Gandalf is a 5-mana 4/5 with Flash. He's also going to give our other legendary spells and artifact spells Flash, and then when a legendary permanent or artifact enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield and causes an ability to trigger, that trigger is going to happen one more time. So keeping in tune with that, we've got a whole bunch of artifacts and legendary creatures that are going to enter or exit the battlefield, causing abilities to trigger. Just taking a look at the top end, we've got our portal for those sacrifices, Golem to destroy some things, Worm Coil Engine leaving the battlefield will actually create more worm tokens when it dies, and of course we have a whole bunch more. Now similarly to Gandalf, why would we have a Panharmonicon deck without Panharmonicon itself? This is further going to increase the number of triggers that we're going to get off of each of our permanents. We also have Elish Norn, who's going to do the same exact thing and also shut off our opponent's permanent ETB, which is absolutely amazing for this deck. Now, furthermore, we do have a couple of other value engines in here. We have ways of blinking our creatures and getting them back on the battlefield. Things like Teleportation Circle, giving us more ETBs. We also have the channel ability on Touch the Spirit Realm, which will double as removal. Very good for us. Similarly, Luminous Broodmoth is actually an interesting inclusion here, because not only will we get the death trigger from some of our creatures, but it'll get returned to the battlefield, giving us the ETB trigger again. Aside from that, we've got some ramp down on the low end, some protection and interaction with our spells. And then over in the mana base, this is a simple white mana base with the inclusion of Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, because we do want to have a decent amount of white pips on the battlefield if we can. Now, if you guys have been enjoying my content, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my latest videos. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. Let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, here we go on the play. I kind of like this starting hand. We're going to go ahead and keep. Don't have too much in the way of early ramp, but we do have almost all the lands we're going to need for Gandalf. And we're holding onto a copy of Reprieve for interaction. Seems pretty good to me. The One Ring is also going to give us some more card draw, and this deck loves drawing cards. Alright, let's go ahead and start with a Plains, pass the turn. We'll see, our opponent's going to be looking to ramp and play out some small sacrificable creatures. Starting with a tap land is pretty good, though. The slower our opponent plays, the better off we're going to be. Now, we are going to be worried about counterspells, removal, and disruption just based on their colors. So playing around our opponent's mana is also going to be very important. We do have the 2 mana up for Reprieve, depending on what our opponent does here. Alright, this is just going to find our opponent a land. No need to deal with that. Alright, we'll play out the hall. That's fine. Opponent has the pathway, they'll have all their colors. If they try and play out their commander, we'll put it back in their hand. Yeah, it'll be a fun game of watch our opponent skip their turn. Now we could play out the ring next turn, but I think we're just going to hold on to our mana. Back to your hand you go. Alright, plenty of lands for us. That's good. Yep. Opponent notably has 8 cards in hand and has to discard. I like Immortal Sun as well. Now, do we want to play out the One Ring and draw some extra cards? And do we care about protection from everything? I think we're going to play out the One Ring here. We're not going to use it to draw cards yet, because we don't need to draw cards yet. But I think it's good to have this on the battlefield now. It's going to save us mana for later. We already set our opponent back a turn, so they're going to play out their commander again this turn. And we'll be able to flash in Gandalf at the end of our opponent's next turn. Yep. Alright, we also have Mana Tithe. Let's pass the turn. So if opponent taps out for something crazy, Mana Tithe. If not, Gandalf. Feels pretty good. I think we're in a good spot. Yeah, Morbid Opportunist is fine. Opponent's just gonna draw some extra cards. Alright. Now, no need to counter the Cold Steel Heart, because I would much rather have Gandalf. Alright, here we go. Flash in the Gandalf. We don't have anything to ETB for us next turn, but that's okay. We could draw a card and try and find it, and I'm a fan of that play right now. We'll be able to draw more off the ring. Alright, see, there's Nadar. We're gonna start losing life because of that. But that's okay. Mightstone and Weakstone is a great draw for us. We're gonna go ahead and play this out. We're gonna play it out now as well, because our opponent does have an activated ability that they can activate. We're gonna go -5, -5, pick their commander. Then we're gonna do it again and pick the Opportunist. This is just gonna set our opponents back a little bit. Opponent should sacrifice the Opportunist first. Yep. They'll get their value. But we forced their decision, and now they have to keep the wall. Perfect. Move to combat, and we're going to swing with Gandalf. Now we'll end the turn here. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. We can play out Portal next turn. Now, if our opponent works on rebuilding their board by recasting their commander, I think Portal is going to be pretty much a game ending. We also have 1 mana up for Mana Tithe right now. So I am curious to see what our opponent goes to play. Let's see. They're thinking about it. Alright, well, destroying Gandalf is a little upsetting for us. The One Ring can't be destroyed here. The land can be. I mean, I think this is fine. We'll just let that happen. Sure. Back in the command zone. We still have Mana Tithe if our opponent tries to do something else this turn. Yeah, sure. No Bankbuster for you. Okay. Back to my turn. Okay, we could play out Immortal Sun. This is going to give us some extra draw. Maybe help us find our land for Portal. I do like that. And since it makes our spells cheaper, let's go ahead and play out the Thran Spider. And we're also going to get a Power Stone. Ending the turn here. Next turn, we'll have access to our Portal. That's going to be great for us. We can also kind of go a Gandalf route if we want to. Alright, opponent plays out their commander. Access to 3 mana that they can use for non-artifact spells. 4 if they're going to cast an artifact, or use an activated ability. None of their creatures have activated abilities, though, that we're concerned about. Alright, 1 blue mana. Yep, we're going to search for a basic. That's honestly an okay trade. Because we can just do this now. Puts us in a pretty good spot. And then we'll swing out. End the turn. Maybe we're gonna grab our opponent's Opportunist. I like that. Alright, Ultimatum is always a dangerous card to see. See what our opponent decides to pick here. Maybe it's going to be a couple of extra turn spells. I think that's going to be the best case scenario for us. Opponent's low on cards in hand. I have no problem giving them Omniscience as well. I don't think they're going to be able to play through that with only 2 cards in hand. But let's see. I think worst case scenario for us, they'll pick like a Jin Gitaxias or something like that. Maybe a Vorinclex combo with a Planeswalker. Ah, yes. Okay. Let's go ahead and... we have to shuffle one of these back, so River's Rebuke happens. That's fine. Yep. Opponent gets their Vorinclex. I mean, that's a really funny draw. We'll just get rid of Vorinclex immediately. Those lands are tapped down, sure. But now Vorinclex is gone. And then let's play out our Thran Spider again. Get our Power Stone, slowly ramp us. Next turn we'll have even more options. Having the ring back in our hand is also really good for us. Mightstone and Wakestone to kill Cobra might also be pretty good. Depending on whether or not the opponent plays out their commander, we'll be able to make a different choice there as well. Alright. That looks pretty good. I think we're just going to go for Mightstone and Weakstone and send their commander right back to the command zone. And we've got it, alright. Alrighty, well this looks like a pretty good starting hand to me. I like Mana Tithe for interaction. I like having the one ring in hand for card draw. This looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and pass the turn. Now best case scenario is we'll have Mana Tithe up for Goshen Tide. Opponent starts with the blue land. Let's play out Shadow Spear here. Actually not gonna hold up Mana Tithe for turn 2. Whatever our opponent wants to play, they can have. Alright, both of their interactive lands. Now, I have to decide, do I want to hold up Mana Tithe for turn 3? I don't think so. I think we're going to play out the Crowbar. Being able to sacrifice the Crowbar and destroy target enchantment is going to be huge for us, especially since their commander is notably an enchantment. Now, this turn, we will be holding up Mana Tithe. Alright. Slow and steady. Let's equip Shadow Spear. We're going to be able to deal a little bit of extra damage, gain some life here. Still holding up Mana Tithe. Alright, that's going to be annoying. We will in fact counter it. Now we are going to be able to flash out Gandalf at the end of our turn here. Just gaining some more life while we can. Having Gandalf on the battlefield is going to be great for us, especially if our opponent taps out for Goshen Tide. Sure, Borrowed Time. They're probably going to hit the Crowbar. They pick the token, alright. That's fine. Here's Gandalf. Play out our Ruin. Attacking with Gandalf. We'll end the turn here. We got a couple of things that we can do. If our opponent can kill Gandalf, we have Sam to protect it. Otherwise, we can play out the Golem. Alright, well, Golem time. Extra ETBs. Lethal on the battlefield. We've got it, alright. Alright, on the play against the Dark Lord. This looks like a pretty good starting hand. We're going to keep. We have Mind Stone into Relic, even if we don't draw lands. And with Mind Stone and Relic, we have Might Stone and Weak Stone as well. Things are looking pretty good for us. We're just going to keep on ramping. Teleportation circle is also going to be really good. Yep. We might have missed our land drop, but we do keep ramping here. Next up, I think we're going to go for the teleportation circle. Yep. Play out the teleportation circle. Let's bring Skyclave Relic back. We've now essentially untapped it. Not that that matters, because we don't have mana to do anything with it. Alright, well that's really good for us. Now next turn, depending on what we do, if we find another mana, we do not. Let's just go ahead and play out our Familiar then. Gain some life. Flicker it, gain some more. Sure. Yep. Conan is very tempted by the ring. I do want to see another land so we can kill the Nazgul. With Mightstone and Weakstone. We unfortunately do not find it yet. Just gonna play out the Familiar again. End of turn, gain some more life. As unfortunate as it is to miss all these land drops, we're still in a really good place. Death trigger, we draw a land, right? Surely? Surely it'll be a land. No, okay, Brilliant Restoration, that's fine. We might have to deal with this Nazgul soon. Touch the Spirit Realm will take care of it. But we do draw the land. Mightstone and Weakstone, we can flicker it. And that's going to ramp us for our artifacts next turn. Kind of like that. -5/-5 until the end of turn. And very conveniently, this is going to re-enter the battlefield before the end of turn. So -10/-10 will be enough to kill that. Now we do have access to 5 mana. We might be able to hold Gandalf. Alright, opponent plays Sauron here. 10. Alright. Now, I think the play here is just to kill Sauron. Yep, we're gonna lose. We're actually not even gonna lose the Emperor here, because we'll just kill the orcs with the Mightstone. So we'll be able to keep the Eternal Wanderer. Flicker this. Go ahead and kill that. Eventually we'll get to a point where we've stabilized. Alright, there's another Nazgul. We can kill that at the end of our turn. I'm not too concerned. Eventually, we want to get Gandalf onto the battlefield. Alright, Now, what's going to be better for us? I think we're just going to exile this and have it re-enter at the beginning of their next end step. And then I'm going to play out Skrelv. Then we'll still be able to flash in Gandalf at the end of their turn. So let's just end the turn. And then I'm going to draw some cards now. If our opponent can kill Skrelv, they can kill Skrelv. That's fine. Again, better to kill Skrelv than to kill Gandalf. Only one card left in our opponent's hand. Draw 2 cards. Both of them are lands, so we're good for land drops. Pass the turn. Okay, that's 1 land. Okay. Could be a removal spell. Let's flash out Gandalf. If our opponent has the removal, they have the removal. And that's going to be okay. Alright. Good. Nazgul's back on the battlefield. We're just gonna exile it again with the Emperor. Keep plussing. Okay. Play out the Hall as our land. Actually, no need to. Let's make our Samurai.
Show them the edge of your blade.
And then end of turn, we'll just kill the Nazgul. I feel like that's going to be the best way to handle this. You can always flash out the Golem or Wormcoil. Okay, he's gone now. And we'll draw some cards as well. Three charge counters. Alright. We're gonna have to discard 2 cards at the end of our turn. Let's see, 4 charge counters on that. So he can notably kill Teleportation Circle with that. And just the Teleportation Circle. I'm almost wondering if we flash out the Boots and the Golem here. Let's bring out the Boots. And then let's throw out the Golem as well so we don't have to discard. Actually, Wormcoil is going to be bigger. Let's throw out Wormcoil here. Alright, Sauron's back. Let's play a land for a turn. Move to combat. It's gonna swing with Wormcoil for 6. Looks good. Now we will have to sacrifice a creature if we want to attack Sauron here. Let's go ahead and give Gandalf Hexproof. I think that's going to be really important for us. And then, let's see. We can blink a creature, so let's play out Thran Spider now. Opponent's going to amass. We're going to make double Power Stones. Then we can blink this. End our turn. Blink the Wormcoil here. Or do we want to blink the Mightstone, get rid of the army? We'll just blink the Wormcoil. Thran Spider, ETB, get more Power Stones. Looks good. Pass the turn. I like where we're at. Our opponent's not going to be able to attack. They also have access to a whole bunch of Power Stones. So we are in a good spot. Yep, Gandalf is protected if our opponent drew removal. Only 1 card in our opponent's hand. I think Blast Zone is their best form of interaction right now. End of turn, we're going to flash out the Golem. I do really like our position here. Trying to think what our opponent's going to be able to do. Not too much. Can always plus the Emperor to get rid of the army, and it won't be coming back since it's a token. Can also sacrifice it. If they make Sauron their ring bearer, we'll block with Wormcoil. Alright, that's fine. So no Teleportation Circle for us. We are off some of that recursive value now. Okay, sacrificing the army. Golem's back. Yep. Plays out Golem. Sure. Let's see. Alright. If they attack, we'll block. It's that simple. Alright, here we go. Play out our golem. Opponent's gonna amass, but we're gonna make a ton of tokens. Yep. Okay. Here's the castle. Now let's start by moving to combat. Everything but Gandalf. We're gonna swing out. Actually, don't care about blocks here. I think best blocks, our opponents kill both the spider and the golem because we can bring them back with restoration. Oh, and they destroy Wormcoil as well? Sure. That looks good to me. Now, I know that that looked like really good blocks for our opponent. Unfortunately for them, we have a little trick up our sleeves. Yep, we'll give them their small army. Oh, well, look at that. They do have a counterspell for it. That is pretty good. Sure, we'll take our treasures. That's fine by me. Now, we can flash out the one ring here. We also just have a wide board as well. Let's plus the Emperor. Get rid of their army. We'll just end the turn. If we're in danger, we can flash out the one ring. It'll give us protection. I do really like where we're at right now. This is a solid spot. Croxa. Sure. Yep. We'll just discard a land. I'd like to keep my cards. Don't really care about the damage. Our opponent definitely won't be able to kill us. Let's see. Now, if we play out the one ring, we can actually get rid of our Wanderer to kill their Sauron as well. I think that would be pretty strong. But as it stands, we have lethal on board. Okay, opponent flashing back Croxa. That's fine. Or escaping, I should say. This time we'll get rid of Touch the Spirit Realm. We'll just save ourselves some life. Looking good. Yep. I don't see what our opponent's going to be able to do to get around this. They only have 2 blockers, and we have far more than that in terms of creatures. But let's move to our turn. We've got it, alright. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed. As we saw, Gandalf is a great Panharmonicon-like commander, letting us take full advantage of all the enter and exit the battlefield effects that we have within our deck. Even when our opponent can deal with our board, once we have so much recursive value out on that battlefield, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually get back ahead. Now, if you guys have any ideas for another deck that you'd like to see me play, why don't you go ahead and leave that as a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of my newest videos. I'll see you guys next time.